The right watch doesn't only tell time, it tells your story. Whether you're into style, history, engineering, or just love wearing something meaningful, collecting watches is one of the most rewarding hobbies out there. But how do you start without getting overwhelmed or making expensive mistakes? In this video, I'll break down exactly how to start your watch collection the right way. In this video, you'll learn how to budget smartly, where to buy and what to look for, and long-term collecting strategies. Now, set a realistic budget. I usually don't try to base that on people's income. It's because it's a combination of what you can afford versus what you're willing to spend on a watch. Because at the end of the day, a $300 watch will show you the time just as good as a $300,000 watch, right? Again, once you sort of pick that tier, try to find the best thing within that tier. So, under $300, you can pick up a Casio, a Seiko, a Timex. From $300 to $1,000, you can look at things like Tissot, Hamiltons, and Citizens. $1,000 to $5,000, now you're getting into sort of that higher end echelon, like Longines, Tudor, Oris, Omega, some Rolexes, depending if you buy it on a secondary, pre-owned, or brand new. And the cutoff on luxury watches is going to be around that $3,000 price range usually. But as I said, setting a realistic budget is not just based on what you make. You don't own a piece of real estate. I don't suggest you go out there and buy yourself a $30,000 watch in lieu of something like that. You just have to be smart with your money like anything else. But you are obviously going to be limited with the income that you made, the savings that you have, and priorities. You're a young single kid and you don't have children, your life isn't that expensive. I have 3 kids. My life is very expensive. Again, there are great watches that exist in every level. And as I said earlier, please avoid going into debt for your first grail. Do your due diligence, but first identify what's important to you, because you can look at things like heritage, innovation. Some people look at resale value and after-sales service. Do you prefer a Swiss watch versus a German-made watch or a Japanese-made watch? Plenty of legacy brands out there like Rolex, Omega, Patek, Seiko, Audemars Piguet, etc. You also have independent watch brands out there like Novus, Baltic, Ming, MB&F, Urwerk, depending on the budget that you're working with. You can use forums, YouTube channels. This is where you can ask questions, share your pickups, learn from mistakes, but more importantly, ask for advice. The watch world may be really small, but the watch collector community is huge, and there's a lot of benefits of being a part of that. In fact, it will add more fun to the hobby. Innovations, I wouldn't say it's that wide of a range. So innovation is actually very scarce, and you usually find it within the independent side of the brands. Design is another important one. Now you can choose to pick an iconic designer like a Gerald Genta, who designed the Royal Oak and the Nautilus along with many other things, or you may choose a new, fresh, up-and-coming designer that makes a watch that's sort of out of this world, doesn't look like anything else. Or you may say, you know what, I'm really a big fan of traditional design, I'd like to go with a Breguet. Or you can just stay on this channel and learn a lot about a multitude of brands, market prices, innovations, etc. Define a goal. Are you collecting for style, investment? Is it sentimental value? Birthday year watches, travel watches. Choose a direction and stay flexible, but I will tell you this, it's a slippery slope and your direction will change a multitude of times because there's always that new shiny toy year in and year out. Or you may change taste and say, you know what, I'm tired of modern, I want to go backwards and go into the vintage world. That's a really big can of worms to open up because watches have been made for hundreds of years. So where do you go buy your watch? Well, you have retailers, which are authorized dealers, guaranteed authenticity, limited availability. You have the gray market. Luxury Bazaar would be a great place to buy. And of course, you have in-person options like watch shows, local jewelers, and often you see collectors trading watches among themselves. To make the decision where to buy, you first need to decide what you're looking to buy, and you look at all your available options and shop it around. Most of the watches out there are going to be cheaper on the secondary market, especially if they're pre-owned. Some watches are not available. Vintage watches are certainly not available to authorized dealers unless they do that kind of thing. Buy the dealer, not the watch. You need to know who you buy from. You need to ensure that the reputation is stellar. Whether it's the gray market, whether it's authorized dealers, just because somebody's authorized doesn't mean that they have a stellar reputation. You should quickly learn about watch care and maintenance. Some mechanical watches are serviced 3 to 5 years. Some mechanical watches can last you 10 years without being serviced. And service is really not that complex. In reality, it's literally an oil change when it comes to mechanical watches. Avoid magnetic fields, right? Extreme temperatures, and obviously water. If it's not rated for water, get yourself a little microfiber cloth, soft brush, little mild soap, and you're good to go. As a quick example, servicing a Rolex at Rolex will run you anywhere from $600 to $1,000. And that is something that you should take into account because just like buying a car requires maintenance, so do watches. Let's talk about the art of resale. If this is something you care about, mind you, I always say watches are not an investment. They're an expensive toy and they should be treated as such, but you can buy them wisely. If this is something that's important to you, 99 out of 100 times you will take a loss on the watch. Whoever was on the other side selling you that watch was making a profit. When they go to try and buy that watch back, let's say, they're also going to buy it in mind of making a profit. You go from a new watch to a used watch, you're going to lose money. Of course, there are some exceptions to the rules. For the most part, steel sports watches from Rolex tend to hold their value. If you somewhere at an authorized dealer buying a brand new watch, you have the power of the internet today. Go Google that reference number, see what they're out there on the secondary for. Box and papers are very important. You will have a higher resale value. So when you buy your watch, make sure you take that box, you take those papers, put them somewhere somewhere safe. Don't put them somewhere damp because boxing papers will get ruined over time. Starting a watch collection does not have to be complicated. You start with what speaks to you, set a smart budget, and let your curiosity sort of lead the way. Like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe for more watch collecting content, and drop a comment with your first or favorite watch. Would love to hear your story. And if you're ready to level up, check out our top 10 watches under 1,000 video right here.